Now, another very important aspect is helping the person harmonize his or her relationships. So we want to work on any feelings towards any people, either guilt or anger, so that we can help this person work towards forgiving, it's very important, and or asking for forgiveness. This is a very important aspect of preparing for leaving the physical body. And if that person is religiously oriented, then we can bring him a spiritual leader from his own religion. If they practice his confession or communion or any other kinds of rites, this will help the soul to feel at peace, and so that it can leave in peace. This is very important, that there be a state of peace when the soul leaves the body. Also, we can help them to realize whatever attachments are keeping them focused on the physical realm, and see how we can help them to free themselves from these attachments, whatever they may be. Also, we can guide them in relaxation and meditation, which in a way, as we have mentioned other times, meditation is a small death, as is relaxation. Whereas we let go of the focus on the physical world. This is a great preparation, because when we die, basically what we do is we meditate. We remove our awareness from the physical being and move into the spiritual being. So in general, we help the person increase their contact with their inner self. I'd like to read to you a paragraph from Alice Bailey. All I plead is a sane approach to death. All I seek to make is a suggestion that when pain has worn itself out and weakness has supervened, the dying person be permitted to prepare himself, even if apparently unconscious, for the great transition. Is it impossible to conceive of a time when the act of dying will be a triumphant finale to life? Is it impossible to vision the time when the hours on the deathbed may be but a glorious prelude to a conscious exit? When the fact that a man is to discard the handicap of the physical sheath may be for him and those around him the long-awaited for and joyous consummation? Can you not visualize a time when, instead of tears and fears and refusal to recognize the inevitable, the dying person and his friends would mutually agree on the hour, and that nothing but happiness would characterize the passing? I tell you that before so very long, this will be deeply so for the intelligent of the race, and little by little for all. So, you can have a going away party. You can call all your friends and relatives. So they're going to be leaving next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. You're all invited. Have drinks, food, anything they want, music. And I think a very beautiful way, just as it's a beautiful way to welcome a soul into the world, it would also be a way to accompany that soul in leaving the physical world would be chanting. There's chanting at that hour. Everyone chanting at that time creates a very spiritual vibration, or meditating all together, and then the soul just sort of takes off. So this all requires a great deal of emotional maturity, and this emotional maturity will come from faith. faith or knowledge or experience of our spiritual self. And just a few more words before we finish this session, and that is, so what do we do for that first minutes after the soul leaves the body? Now we mentioned this is a very crucial moment, because the soul has the possibility here of what was called Mahasamadhi, or connecting directly with this higher level of consciousness. But the tendency is for the mind to focus on the persons that it's leaving, or the material objects, or the home, or whatever it may be. So, first of all, we can whisper. This is from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. We can whisper in this person's ear. And if we're not there, if they telephone us, it doesn't matter, anywhere that we are, we can communicate mentally with this soul, explaining some various things. First of all, that they have left their physical body, and that they have no advantage whatsoever of focusing on the physical level. They have no advantage whatsoever of focusing on their family, or their work, or any of their possessions. And that they should turn their attention to one of two things: to the light, or to God as they imagine it. Imagine God to be. And so this is our message. For the first 20 minutes, we can do this continuously. Let go of the physical realm. Listen to the guides who are around you. There are angelic beings around you trying to help you. Listen to them. Focus on the light. Focus on the divine. Of course, you can imagine that I can't do this if I'm crying because my loved one left. That crying is going to be a tremendous emotional power which is going to pull that soul down. Now, we shouldn't feel guilty about that. It's very natural that we will cry. It's a very difficult experience for us. But we can also alternate. After we stop crying, we can also remember this truth and explain this to our loved one. Also, it would be useful to explain to them that anything that they see or experience is a creation of their mind. So the basic messages are that anything that you see is a creation of your mind. You have no benefit by focusing on the material level, and you should focus on the beings of light, focus on the light itself, and focus on the divine. And this can be repeated over and over again throughout the first 40 days. Now, it's not that all souls need it for 40 days, and it's not also that they don't need it after 40 days. But this is a common factor. It's a period of time in which we focus more intently on this soul. If we like to light a candle or a kandili for the soul, this is of course a material thing. It's a gesture which has a spiritual connotation. That this light would be the light that would guide this being. It's not so important, but it can be helpful to us and to them.